What is going on, guys? Lone here. This is going to be an OBS tutorial on how to do local recordings with OBS, mainly for gameplays, commentaries, things like that, but you can use it for pretty much whatever you want. Forgive the multi-layered overlay you see in the background here. I am using OBS to actually record this video. So first things first, let's go to settings. This is going to be the main portion of the video and the most important part of the video. Make sure, obviously, in the general tab you have your language selected. Encoding, do exactly what I have set here. Now, obviously, these numbers and things can change depending on your system, what it can handle and stuff like this, but this is a pretty good base starting point to set your stuff to and to mess around with and adjust accordingly. You're going to want the 264 encoder, you're going to want CBR checked, you're going to want 25,000 here for max bitrate. Keep in mind this is for local recording. If you're going to be streaming, these numbers are going to be drastically different. These settings will be different, and there will be a separate video out for how to stream with OBS, mainly via Twitch. You're going to want CBR padding checked. You're going to want custom buffer size checked. You're going to want this buffer size set to 0. 0 because that means there's going to be as minimal loss of quality of video as possible. The higher this number, the more it tells OBS it can play around with your bit rate, and it's going to cause pixelation in high motion scenes, and you do not want this. Audio encoding AAC 48 kilohertz. Bit rate, the higher the better, 320 in this case, in stereo. Now broadcast settings. Obviously, we're doing local recording, so file output only is what you're going to want here. Live stream is going to be for streaming, of course. Change your file path to wherever you want this particular file to be stored. Leave everything else default. Video. Obviously, your graphics card should be selected here. Your monitor's custom resolution should be set. And you can downscale if you want to from 1080p to 720p if your computer is a little weaker than mine. But 1080p is what I have it set to. Frames per second, you can change from 60 to 45 to 30, whatever you want. Do not go above 60. There's no need to when you're recording, especially for YouTube, because YouTube caps it at 60. So I have 1080p 60 frames per second set here. Audio. Make sure you have your desktop audio device and microphone set accordingly. Make sure those are here. Reinitialize if you have to, if they're not showing up, or restart OBS in general. Keep everything else here the same. I wouldn't mess with these at all. As far as hotkeys go, on this tab here, I have insert to start my recording or stream and end to stop my recording or stream. Put whatever you want to put here, whatever is easier for you. It's a lot easier than alt-tabbing out of a game to hit stop recording. Get some hotkeys set up. Advanced tab is a very important tab. You're going to want use multi-threaded optimizations checked. Process priority class is going to be normal. Scene buffering time is going to be 700. You're going to allow other modifiers on hotkeys. Your X264 CPU preset is going to be super fast. Now, the higher you go with this, like say we go to ultra fast, it's going to take less of a toll on your CPU. Now, we have it set to super fast because we have such a high bit rate here. Now, what you could do if you have a good processor or better one than me, I have an i7-3820. You could put it down a little bit. You can go to very fast or faster, allowing you to use less of a bit rate, therefore a smaller file size, but it's going to take more of a toll on your CPU. Now, they kind of go hand in hand. You can mess around with this if you want to, but I find this to be perfect for me with minimal loss in video quality. Your encoding profile should be set to main. Keyframe interval is going to be 2. You're going to have CFR checked and custom X264 encoder settings checked as well. What you're going to put in here is CRF equals 20, no spaces, and that's gonna really help you out with your buffer size and video loss in general. Try this out. The lower you go, the crisper it'll be, the higher, but also it'll take more of a toll on your CPU. So 20 seems to be a sweet spot for me, and that's what I like. So try that out. Do not allow 61 to 120 FPS entry in video settings. It really doesn't matter if you have this checked or not, because you're not going to be putting anything above 60 when you're recording anyway. So this really doesn't matter unless you would like to, but I don't understand why you would. Maybe if you're doing some really intricate video editing and stuff like that, and you have some really cool slow-mo cameras or something like that, but I don't know. Just ignore that one for now. Audio, you're going to do everything like I have set up here for the rest of the advanced tab settings. I didn't mess with this at all. This should all be default. If it's not, adjust it accordingly. QuickSync encoder, you're not going to use this at all. Yeah, so completely ignore that. Browser, you're going to keep the same default. You can set a noise gate if you want to. I don't have to. I don't like doing that because it interferes with other things that I'm doing if I'm switching between scenes or games and stuff like that. I just don't want to I don't want to mess with it at all. So that should be it. You should be all good to go. So let's talk a little bit about your scenes and sources. Now, there's profiles, and I can't show you because I'm recording right now with OBS. But at the top of your OBS screen here, there's going to be a tab called Profile. Make sure you have one set up for local and one set up for streaming. That way, you can easily swap between the two. Because, like I said, your streaming settings are going to be drastically different from your local recording settings. So that's going to be something you're going to want to do, and you're not going to want to switch it out every single time. Also, you're going to want a stream scene set up and a local recording scene set up. Simply because when you're streaming, you might want a webcam and a top bar with your donations and stuff like that. And then rather than having to untick all the boxes, you can simply just click on your local recording and have the certain things you want set up there all ready to go, like maybe just a webcam. So it's good to have your scenes and your sources all set. When you're recording with games, it's going to depend really on what game it is and how well optimized it is for actually being captured with OBS. Typically, you can do most things with monitor capture. Now, monitor capture is going to allow you to drag, let's say you're doing a podcast, right? And you're monitor capturing your podcast. You're going to be able to click and drag like internet tabs into your video or your game. If you're doing like a game review and you want to bring up some stats from the internet or something, you can bring the tab over and it'll allow you to show that on top of your game with little effort involved whatsoever. Game capture, on the other hand, is completely different. It's going to capture your game and not allow you to move your mouse out of the game or bring things over top of the game. So it's a little different. You're going to have to play around and see which works best. A lot of games work better if you run full screen windowed. So that's another thing you can mess around with if your screen is showing just black or it's not finding your game whatsoever in OBS. Monitor capture seems to be good for all sources. Game capture seems to have less of a frame drop issue. So it's really up to you. I go back and forth honestly with like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I'll do game capture with Skyrim. I'll do monitor capture. It's different from each game and PC. So that has been my tutorial on OBS, how to do local recordings. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try to help you out as best I can. If I missed something important that you guys think I should put in here or leave an annotation or something, just let me know. And be sure to look out for that streaming video, that tutorial on OBS I'll be doing later. So if you enjoyed, please hit the like button below. Subscribe if you have not. Share the video around with your family and friends. And I'll catch you guys later.